Welcome friends in our Panasonic robot training how to use the Teach-Pendent. This is the part 37 and today we discuss E-axis range monitor. It is a function to turn on an output when an external axis is positioned within a specified area like RT monitor and cube monitor. It is possible to bring the robot to an error stop before the external axis enters the specified area. You can specify the number of monitoring areas. See section 13.2 System Data Adjustment for setting details. You can see E-axis range monitor procedure in this image. Monitoring specifies whether to apply this function valid or not invalid. E-axis specifies an external axis to be monitored. Range specifies the monitoring range. Enter a smaller number to the left entry box. Multi-rotation. Mark the checkbox to support the multi-rotation axis. Auto restart. Mark the checkbox to specify whether to restart operation automatically or not. If the input signal is turned off when the robot has been in the ready state just before entering the monitoring area by the input signal. Error stop in teach mode. Mark the checkbox to specify whether to stop the robot or not when the input is turned on and the robot enters the monitoring area I teach mode. Input terminal. Specify an input that stops the robot at the boundary of the monitoring area when the input is turned on. Output terminal specifies an output terminal that stays in on state while the robot is in the monitoring area. Here you can see a table. Multi-rotation. It is a function to determine whether or not a multi-rotation type positioner is within the monitoring area with apparent angle, that is the angle from the 0 degree position to the apparent location, not the actual angle of rotation. The following are all within the range if the monitor range is set to 0 to 90 degrees. Here you can see angles of rotation. Many angles are present here. That's why it is called as multi-rotation. Note, this function is not applicable in case that no external axis is connected. If error stop in teach mode is applied and the robot is brought to an error stop, the error's output, status output, is turned on in teach mode. Next is AND condition monitor. It is a function to turn on an output if all conditions of a combination of monitoring functions RT monitor, cube monitor and E-axis range monitor are satisfied. It is also possible to bring the robot into an error stop by inputting a signal externally. If the conditions are satisfied, monitoring specifies whether to apply this function, valid or not invalid. And condition specifies type of area monitor, area number and on off within out of the area. Auto restart. Mark the checkbox to specify whether to restart operation automatically or not if the input signal is turned off when the robot has been in the ready state just before entering the monitoring area by the input signal. Error stop in teach mode. Mark the checkbox to specify whether to stop the robot or not when the input is turned on and the robot enters the monitoring area I teach mode. Input terminal. Specify an input that stops the robot at the boundary of the monitoring area when the input is turned on. Friends, and condition monitor process you can see in this image. This image shows total procedure of and condition monitor. Output terminal specifies an output terminal that stays in on state while the robot is in the monitoring area. Next is programming teach folder settings. This function allows the user to define the default folder in which teaching programs will be saved. Select either edit folder or TP edit environment. Edit folder. The folder settings related icons are displayed as user. Function icons for the user function keys F1 to F3. Press a key of the function you want to work on. To create a new folder under the selected folder. To rename the selected folder. To delete the select folder. Programming teach folder settings procedure you can see in this image. Press the cancel key to end. Default folder. Folder of teach program. It specifies the default folder to save a program in. The folder specified here also becomes the default folder of open a file, program file operation. You can see the image of default folder in right side. Friends, here we end this part of our Panasonic robot training and other information we will discuss in our next video.